that's how a lot of young dudes can prevent having problems.
Yeah.
When you're mission oriented, everybody can see that. You know what I mean? So one thing I want to touch on, somebody don't actually know about you. So tell me, like, when did you actually start rapping? Like, what age did you pick up a pen and start writing raps?
Bro, I had an education rap that I did, you know, because I was a hardhead, bro, in elementary, like I told you. And the teacher seen me turning it around. You know, she seen the potential in me. She said, if you graduate and you're able to walk the stage or whatever, because I was rapping way in elementary. She said, and I hear what you're back there doing, because I was inspired by the people around me. They were already into it. So I'm back there writing shit. She said, if you graduate and you clean your grades up, I'm going to have you do an education rap in front of the whole graduation ceremony.
What grade was this?
This was 6th grade at Dyer Kelly Elementary, and it was called Education Rap, bro. That was the first rap I ever did publicly in front on the stage, in front of people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that really sparked my confidence, bro. Just off doing the education rap. Once I did, because I was so much of a hard head little fuck up, she was like, I really see the potential in you. And I brought my grades around, bro. And I did everything that I was supposed to do. And I was able to grace the stage with the education rap. You know what I mean? Still to this day, that shit stick with me. You know what I mean? That was it. Education rap was the start of it. Then my brother Roop, he was already signed to AWOL. So I already was like, okay, I gotta catch up with it. I gotta get over here and get with the shit. You feel me? So I transitioned them education raps into some gangster shit. And boy, at 11, 12 years old, I was on shit, on albums and doing single songs and hype man and everything. You know, but it all started from an education rap, bro.
Okay, because I remember that. So you saying 11 and 12, you was on people's albums doing a hype man. When did you drop your first studio album?
I was featured on that album. The first project I was ever featured on first before I dropped the album. See, the thing is this. These times that we live in now, a nigga could just put out an album, bro. You had to work your way up to that. You got to remember.
Yeah.
I was around Sebo. I was around Root Dog. I was around the real shit, bro. We wasn't gonna just put you out. You know what I'm saying? We gonna put you on a few of these albums and shit like that, bro. We gonna see how you wiggle. We gonna see how the streets, you know what I'm saying? But my shit was so impactful that honestly, really feel like the people around me kind of didn't even really know what to do with it, because it was just so unique, and it was, marketing wasn't something that we were taught from the streets. All we knew how to do is have raw talent, bring that shit to the studio, find a baller, and that nigga gonna put the shit out. What a lot of these outlets that you see now didn't even exist, like internet and all that, you know, and different things like that. If I would have had some of the tools that maybe they have now, I think I would have put out more solo music or whatever, because people would have tuned in and said, who's that kid? So what I did for a lot of the times, I featured on Catch 22. I was on, like I said, Who Put Sac on the Map, Sacktown Kings, Marv Mitchell and Mays album in 95 and 94. So I was building my resume from 93 to Whoop. Then what I always did, since I was on the road, I kept a solo song. And even if it wasn't out, that was the song that I wanted to perform to build my representation. When I lived in Seattle, I did music out there. I went to the studio and I created a song. I did 11 shows out there within like a year. So
how old were you then, JDK? How old were you then?
That was later on in my transition. At that point, I was probably about 19, 20. So and I did this in within a year process. So I had recorded a couple songs or whatever. And I was doing that every time me and Root got down or whatever, you know, I would come out. The song was called The Art of the Underboss. Art of Underboss. I recorded that at Johnny's house. Johnny, I can't even think of the guy's last name. They were twins. They stayed in Federal Way, Washington. But I recorded that shit. So every time I got down, I did the art of. And then in the earlier stages before that, in the early 90s, I had Shades of Ism, which was featuring Ty Bud. You got to look into, you remember that?
Yeah.
That was on Who Put Sac on the Map. So Shades of Ism was me, Ty Bud, and Savage. Based on it, I was young, you know, and I wasn't able to handle the business side of everything. The song says featuring Root Dog, and then featuring JDK. But that was really me and my two young comrades on there. So every time we had a show, then I would bring them niggas out. We would perform that. So I always found a way to make myself relevant at a young age. Then when I got to the point where it was time for me to just start doing my own albums, I was well seasoned, well mature. You know what I'm saying? Everything I learned in the experience of watching my friends have experience. I had 5 homeboys that put out an album,
Hmm.
all at the same time. Some of them was on major labels. You know, Trav was signed to Tommy. BG was signed to Out the Drought. Mitch Out the Drought. Mitch and them had a situation. We had Realism Records. Then, you know, years after that, Goodfella and all of that shit came along. So it was so many labels attached to my community that I got a great experience of how these guys out of these communities was trying to run these labels. You know, and the fundamentals with all of us started, bro. Like if you from Meadowview, you are real solid. You from my side, you grew up in Dayspring Outreach. So that's where the fundamentals for a lot of us started at, because I had a dad, bro. I had a mom. A lot of these niggas didn't have no dads and shit like that. So Wayman Logan and them was like they father figures and all of that and different things like